Greetings, folks, and welcome to the Town Hall of August 2017. We are doing a rather early Town Hall for this month, and cool thing is, Toho 16 has come out, officially.
Booyah!
Yay!
Yay!
Stage boss gave me PTSD.
I can confirm, everyone, that
before he
the
actually
first
played.
boss is still Eternity.
Waiting for Coho.
Eternity.
Yep.
Waiting for English patch.
Anyways, with that all said and done, we are doing this town hall earlier because we do have a couple of reminder topics from the last town hall and on an old matter that still needs to be brought up. So, with that said, our community topics for today is a hint of aggression in chats, the reprise. The next one is all chat rooms are available for everyone. Reprise. Those are our two topics that we will be going over again. As for the rest of the topics, anything not mentioned, and then projects and announcements. So, with that, ready to begin, folks?
Aye,
Mhm.
Captain.
My body is
Go.
freaking
I
awesome.
am. I'm Barry.
Alright. So, a hint of aggression in chats. Although this topic has been addressed in the last town hall, recent events has concerned us regarding fair and respectful behavior between one another. We would like to have a short refresher on the topic, so now is the time for us to talk about the matter of aggression, where it kind of stems from, and what I talked about previously regarding the different types of people that are being treated with aggression. So, last time I spoke on the matter of a couple of different types of individuals that have had aggression fixated towards them. The first being somebody who has caused a lot of trouble with our group in the past, who has gone through all the ropes of punishment, so to speak. There is a natural stigma against those folks there. And I talked about that last time, and that isn't really an issue now, but it is always something to keep in mind that even though somebody could be punished for behavior before, to not treat them with stigma, to like stir them up or cause them to do something that goes against what they need to do for the group. Now, the other such types of individuals that I'm mainly concerned about are people who are considered annoying and or posting stuff that people do not like. That's the big one. That's the big one that I want to really narrow down on, because that's kind of the big thing that has been stemmed from. Again, we're not going to name names about this because... What's up?
When you say that might annoy people, what exactly is your scope about that? Because different people can consider different things to be annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Cursed, you're kind of cutting.
Yeah, you're kind of.
Yeah,
I
you went
got-
a
Yeah.
little over.
I got what you.
Lag.
I got the gist of what you said, though. So our take on the matter of annoyance is that we pay attention to how regularly it happens from an individual standpoint. Again, do not name names. So the big thing regarding that is how the situations get handled, and regarding this type of person, typically the best reference I can give is a look at our rules and policies. Now, there is one policy that we are actually working on, and that would be like our open door policy, but it's mainly regarding the kick by 1,000 paper cut policy in and of itself. But looking at the rules for a bit here, we look at a couple of different things, and we see rule number 2 here. Not rule number 2, excuse me. Rule number 4. Rule number 4. if you find or believe that somebody is breaking the rules, causing a public fuss / unrest, that's the big one, or otherwise being disruptive and or inconsiderate, that's also the big one, ask them once with courtesy in mind. Very important, folks. It really has to be stressed that this is a very good reference to have when it comes to annoyance and tackling your own aggression when in the face of annoyance or a distasteful content. Ask them once with courtesy in mind to stop. Once is all you need to ask. If they continue, do not keep insisting they stop. Instead, seek additional help from an admin or otherwise somebody who can get in touch and curb the issue. Mainly the admins can do that. So yeah, that's the big thing that I see being ignored when it comes to somebody who's considered annoying. And in many ways, it spawned what I mentioned last time as the misconception of the kick by 1,000 paper cuts policy. The big thing about that policy is you can typically complain about people who are treading like the fine lines of these types of rules and stuff like that. So mainly the big thing I want to point out is if you are following rule number 4 and asking once with courtesy in mind, then it becomes a pretty valid ground to complain or mention somebody who otherwise is not stopping after you ask them once not to do this. That is the big thing. That's what most of us would consider in the admin circle a proper usage of the 1,000 paper cuts policy. Anybody have anything to say on that?
I do.
Go ahead.
But let's say there's a certain individual we have said this to in the past because he has posted up some disturbing things, and he said he will stop, but later on down the road he posted the same thing or something new that's still equally as disturbing, and the first people to see are actually admins who even know about this and are talking to some people who've actually already said something.
Mm-hmm.
And they see it already, and they've already known people have said that. Ask the person, and certain admins just watch the stuff go on, can just let it all play out.
Could I be brought up to speed when you say this offensive material? Also, you just deny.
No, I'm just saying like
Something that's not appropriate in the wagon period and is very obviously not.
Yeah.
Wait, you say this? You mean on DeviantArt side or the Discord?
Discord and
okay,
the Discord side.
But I'm also right now I'm talking a bit of the sense of the aggression and stuff that's happening in Discord. I'm talking about what's happening in Discord right now. Like I know some admins even seeing some of the stuff or even commenting beforehand, and then nothing's going on. And they know, and they do. Some of them do know that
Stop.
Ow!
What the hell?
Push it
I
up,
don't
Ray.
realize where that
I'm
came
sorry,
from.
but I'm gonna.
I think that was
server
from
meet
Miracle Cliche.
No, that was Curse.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
okay.
All right,
that's right.
problem dealt with. Move on.
Yeah.
Go
ow.
ahead, then, Unknown.
But yeah, you see what I'm saying though. Some admins know that people have, and some of them, even the admins have said to certain people is don't post that, and they see it before some of us normal members, and they just don't do anything, and then us members flip out after we see it and just watch the ensuing shitstorm.
Well, that's the problem. People are making it what you would call an S-storm when they don't have to, because there is a specific way and manner to address things like that, Unknown, and that's the big issue here, is that people are not tackling these things in the way that they ought to be able to really, kind of tackle this, because courtesy being kept in mind and tact are really important, but the thing is, it's only an S-storm, as you call it, and maelstrom, as it were, because people are getting angry. aggressive, and it is tarnishing what otherwise would be the proper methods to dealing with situations like that. And that's the main thing. It's not as though the admins are just watching and letting people get angry. In many ways, I've seen a lot of them try to step in and say, okay, let's all calm down a little bit here. Not everybody does. Maybe not everybody catches it as it's happening, but that's the big thing. So what are your thoughts on that, Unknown, about the aggression aspect, making it harder to handle?
What I was saying was just because if they'd seen it beforehand and let's say it's something very offensive, not like it's bad or it's just very, very offensive, and admins see it beforehand and they wouldn't be proper to take it down, even though the person's been notified beforehand that they've stopped doing that.
Yeah.
Shouldn't an admin just jump in and say, okay, before anything happens, I know this is bad.
So
because
kinda
it's
like,
hard for us to act that fast.
But some of them, if they've already seen it before it even happened, like if everyone starts going nuts, and they've even commented it beforehand.
The
Go ahead, Nora.
I see what you're getting at, and while that's understandable, Unknown, a lot of times that's led to very preemptive strikes, as I would put it.
Mm-hmm.
I get where you're coming from. Sometimes you want to prevent stuff, but we can't just immediately jump on it every time.
Yeah, trust me, when we see this, we've had some preventive strikes in banning people before, and
No, not banning people.
Oh, sorry, my
removing removing images
well,
or
banning,
stopping,
removing images, certain things.
stop basically stopping drama in its tracks. It's a lot harder than it sounds. Because there are a lot of times where something will sound like it's gonna get heated, and then they just turn out to be, talking civilly about it. So we have to be very careful on that line.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a pretty much case of easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Case by case, we do have to prevent the drama that will happen, but it's very hard to preemptively do that without jumping the gun sometimes.
And the thing is, we need people to be able to handle themselves instead of, sparking a bunch of the drama aforementioned. Because in the instance that we are talking about, the big instance here of the aggression regarding annoyance factors is that the cause isn't really breaking any rules. It's distasteful and stuff like that, yes, but regarding how members should handle it in situations like that is with Rule 4. You only need to say really one thing, and the thing is, it's got to be calm. Go ahead, Nora.
And if they don't listen, then that's when you bring it up, because if they are an understanding person, when you say stop, they will stop.
Yeah.
If they don't, then that is perfectly fine to bring that up to us specifically, that this person wouldn't stop when we asked them to. Additionally, Unknown, you mentioned the instance of people going out of their way to go, kind of cause an S-storm and stuff like that. Where I'd say this is kind of another thing to take into consideration is things like promise making. If said person made a promise not to do this again and they do it again, then we should obviously know about that because they made an agreement to themselves. And that's the thing. We want people to be honest to what they have to say. So if you catch something like them breaking their own promises, that's also kind of a good reason to bring it up to us. So, like I said, there are better ways of handling these kind of things when they come up, and aggression is simply not a solution. It's not.
I will have to say this. a lot of the times the reason we ask people to police themselves more than rely on us is because we can't be here all the time. Most of us admins are in college or have jobs. There's only a few of us to handle maybe 250 people in this Discord and more on the DA. So the reason we come up with a lot of this stuff is not to be lazy. I will assure you of that. It's not to make the admin's job lazy. It's really to emphasize self-sufficiency, because there's going to be times where we're not around to help.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of admins.
Well, there was also the time when a bunch of you guys were out at a convention and there were only a few people left. And so in many ways, the people that were left had to do a lot of watching, but because they had to sleep or something of the other, they couldn't catch everything. Like things like submissions, we got a couple of complaints saying, "Why haven't you accepted my submission?" It's because not everybody could get around to it. Where we are with submissions is perfectly fine. I think we have... Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Minnie, and Bleach actually had to step away from our convention doings to help out because it was so bad.
Yeah. And that was at the time. And so just
when
like
was this?
When we were at your house. We had to step out of our way from our activities to help with admin stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean after AX?
Yeah.
Do a couple of
Shouldn't
voting
you
on
just
submissions
put, like,
and stuff.
global reminder about that kind of stuff?
Well, we usually do. In fact, we did for that. We said that people were going to be away, and so we clarified that, yet not everybody got the message.
So how exactly is that your fault?
Good point.
It's not.
We're bound to be a couple away when we have no point.
It's just emphasizing the point that we're not always going to be around to do everything. We're the admins, yes. We're here to resolve issues, make the rules what they are, and keep them enforced. But there are going to be times where we're simply not around.
So why are you beating yourselves up over that kind of those?
No, they are.
We are.
No, I'm talking about when it was the Toho convention.
Oh, I'm not beating myself at all. I was just using that as an example.
Toho convention.
Like the time when all of them were out of town. That's the time I'm referring to.
Oh, we're not beating ourselves up over it. No. It was just an example of a time where we really couldn't be there. We were too busy having fun with each other.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the point, and the rules are there to empower you guys, and if you do follow them, it is a very clear-cut guide on where the direction of issues like that could go. I cannot emphasize Rule 4 enough. I should have emphasized it more back when I first brought up this topic, but it is really just your go-to process, because if you linger on the topic and you find this person isn't cooperating as much as before, and you get aggressive, it is really, really just kind of one of those things that makes the process inert, in a way, when you get aggressive and shoot something back. You don't have to. In many ways, you can back off, and that's fine. That's fine. We don't need everybody going after one person who makes a mistake, and that will go into the other person that I talked about that was of importance, and that is of new people. I can tell you this much, that if you do show this kind of aggressive behavior around new people, it makes them rather uncomfortable. And the thing is, I've caught instances of people being outright aggressive when a new person messes up, because we are kind of more tight-knit in our membership. In many ways, we know each other well, and having somebody new can be a little hard for them to adjust, and even us, we have to do a little bit of adjusting. But recognizing stuff like that in the face of a new member is really important, because new members will make mistakes. They just will.
It's an almost guarantee, yeah. And we've unfortunately become kind of jaded towards this, because we have dealt with the same things rinse and repeat over and over again. And as I've started to notice, that's just going to happen every time you get new members in whatever community you're adminning in.
Yeah. And that's the thing, though, is that we are a group that is still dedicated around like self-sufficiency, teaching, and improvements overall. And that's the big thing. It is hard to accept somebody new who makes mistakes because of that jadedness, but you don't have to be. In many ways, you pay attention to what a new member is doing, and if they continue to do the same mistake over and over again with little regard for what you have to say, yeah, that's a problem. But many people who are new will be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they're gonna fumble about quite a bit, and telling the difference between someone who's willing to cooperate and someone who's going to be a troublemaker it's not an easy skill to master at all.
If I may, if you're going to be part of a community full of people, I think it's better to, before you even begin saying hello, to read the rules and policy of what to say, what you can't say. That way you don't screw up. Like make it a priority to read it before you get into the community, the Discord chat, I mean.
Okay.
Can you type that in the town hall chat?
Yeah,
I will.
Thank you.
For the folks that didn't understand. I kind of got what you meant. I kind of got what you meant, but yeah. In any case, it'd be much more clear in text.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mute myself.
Wait, what the hell happened to my message?
No idea.
Siege.
Yeah,
Hey.
Yeah, Bleach?
I was gonna say, like, let's not point fingers at anyone here, regardless of who deleted it.
Beep beep.
Oh, fuck
Sorry.
you, Nora.
I didn't actually do it. Also, please, please.
But yeah,
Go
like,
on.
also one thing I like to mention is for the aggression thing is something that I know that HTF has said a lot. He who throws the last punch loses.
Very, very old saying, and I can see why it's very valuable now.
Yeah.
Although there are times where he who throws the last punch is the winner because the other person is dead. But that's
not
valid.
Life.
That sounds funny.
That sounds like me. Violent.
Okay, the guy throwing the killing punch usually goes to jail. I don't consider that a win.
Yeah, probably.
But in a fight, in a fight, no matter how you look at it, if one side's dead,
Either
the other's
way.
alive.
Okay, guys.
Yeah. Either way.
This ain't real life. This is a group that we can't punch each other in.
This is a fantasy.
Okay, I'm not going to start with that.
Hey, I'm the one drunk. I should be the one singing.
Why are you drunk at a town hall, you loon?
Why?
All right.
It's like 1:24 a.m. here anyway.
All right, anyway.
Hey, drunk doesn't mean incoherent necessarily.
I'm being a dork. Let's continue.
Either way.
Okay, guys, we're getting off track here.
I was about to point that out.
Thank you.
Yeah, here goes the last
Right,
punch loses. That is a fitting saying for what's been going on right now with the aggression. Because really, it's just making the situation worse and making some of the people that are like getting aggressive look more bad.
In many ways, it has prevented us from doing what we think people want us to be able to do, because they don't have the they don't have this. They don't have the means to report it after they get aggressive because they didn't follow Rule 4. They didn't ask once or stuff like that. They just got angry, and that's kind of the big bummer to it all, is that we've had to address the members more critically than people who go out of their way to be annoying.
Well,
go ahead.
What if actually asking the other guy to stop might just escalate the situation?
Well, that's where you step back and report it. All you need
simple.
to ask is once.
True.
It also depends how you do it, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like certain ways you put certain things.
I don't know. The guy who has grievance with me seems very vehement on just being aggressive.
Let's keep that out here, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Is this something I need to know? What should know about?
It's a private grudge issue.
Yeah, just say that.
Grudge issues should stay out of the town hall.
Yeah, this is not for this.
More important.
That's something that we can talk about later, but the town hall is about the group as a whole.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll hold someone to that.
Hey.
But more to the point is, regarding how things escalate, there is nothing wrong with stepping back when somebody is getting needlessly aggressive and not giving them the light of day after you ask them politely and with courtesy in mind to stop. I mean, I've said it again and again, but really it is that important because this could be a non-issue. These problems, they don't even have to exist regarding the usage of the proper rule in that case. So I want people who have either previously gotten aggressive or picked up on the aggression when others start speaking on it to keep that in mind. Because I do know that the 1,000 paper cuts is more like on the matter of things like group counseling, warnings, stuff like that. And in many ways you can say the advice that you want to, and in many ways people already have said all the advice they really could give out in instance of annoyance and stuff like that. And it becomes to that point where the person's not following through on that, then you can really keep Rule 4 in mind.
Yeah, and
I'm kind of curious. Has there been like an influx of rude new members in this place, or why was there so much talk about newbies being a headache to admins?
Not necessarily. Not what I've seen.
Yeah,
it's mainly because sometimes some people are usually very suspicious of the new members at first.
Do they think they're old members returning?
No.
No. Okay. It's more like after all the experiences we've dealt with, people are suspicious of new members being unruly or just, in general, really bad people.
We want to get a better process for that. Go ahead, Nora. Sorry.
Yeah. Because admittedly, yes, we have our open door policy means that we welcome people with open arms. The problem is that also does invite
unwelcome
drama,
individuals,
all that.
Unwelcome folks, young teens who haven't learned how to be mature yet. Not every teen, but there are, the type what I'm talking about, right?
Rabble rousers?
Yeah. Folks that haven't quite learned yet.
We have improved this, though, to be fair. We used to have an open Discord invitation on our page until we got flooded with a group of spammers.
Well.
And so we made it Discord accessible to those who ask. And in the future, it might be wise to make that a little bit more tight-knit.
We'll probably talk about that more in what we missed. I think that's a good place for me to...
Yeah.
The group itself will be still open door policy, as in anyone can join the DA group if they so desire. The behavior they show on their DA group, however, will determine whether or not they're okay to be allowed in the Discord.
So,
like if they are just like freshly brand new, if they like just made their DA today or something like that, we have to take that into account if they ask us for Discord right away, because we know nothing about this person yet. And the big thing is to build familiarity with new people. And yeah, so again, we will probably bring this up a little bit later.
Yeah.
But it's just something to keep in mind that we are considering doing, just for the sake of giving new people a little bit more of an edge, so they can be more familiar with people like you and I.
And just to make it,
and not, completely isolating them out just because they're new.
So basically, sorry, go ahead.
And just to make it clear real quick, like just so people don't misread what we're saying. Crap.
Line.
It pretty much means like no, we're still gonna invite them in, but we're also gonna be. It's something we're gonna need to work around. So don't worry.
We'll make proposals on this in the future.
Well, it seems like kind of like there's going to be a screening period before Discord invites out from the.
Either screening within the Discord or DA of some form, just to be a little bit more extra cautious and to kind of gauge where new people lay.
And this still also allows them to, join the group freely, because that's their right to do so.
Though I'd assume this screening would be kind of based on group consensus.
We're still trying to work that out for the DA, but we have some ideas outside of DA, like for those of you that want to bring friends in here as guests.
Yeah, just as a disclaimer, or something sort of related, but I usually just lurk, but I noticed how the town halls usually are. I felt like I should give some input for once. What?
Oh,
that saw you sound like, oh god, just shut up.
I
said,
no.
We're saying
understood.
That's Diz for you. He just a lot.
Oh,
I do it typically in response to a lot of people saying what they do in agreement. So I'm sorry if it seemed like.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, should I just go then?
No, Diz is an interesting little cinnamon bun.
No,
Yeah.
That's no problem. It's easier to okay, tonal misunderstandings can happen, but it's usually text as like, wait, there's no tone in this. How do I know what the context is?
I probably should go instead.
Say Dizzy.
You can't change your habits that easily.
Caw. Though
Anyway.
I guess there's no actual policy changes for people who have already sort of been approved.
Yeah, I mean, because that would be kind of rude to just take it back.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna take it back. I'm kidding.
Most of the people
inspections for everyone.
Oh my god.
It's like, why
mainly,
though?
That's kind of like with the profile links chat. We have it accessible for those who want to ask to otherwise exist in this group. People here who haven't put their profile links in like they want to can still do so, who have been with us before. For newer members, though, we kind of make it a priority for them to link it when they can. So yeah.
I don't think I'm actually part of the DA group. I'm not entirely sure.
Not everybody has to, but the main thing is that we point it out to people so they know what we're all about.
Fair enough. I think I was invited here by a friend.
Actually,
It's a long while back, but
yeah, understood in that sense. In many ways, we do get a lot of guests who are friends from another group that come here at times.
Yeah, well, this channel is relevant to my interest, so I'm fine with being a member instead of just a guest.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's not like we will prevent people who didn't come from the Discord from joining, but we still need to be, just a little bit more cautious and informative, especially because we kind of want to give the members what they need to know from us. And we can't do that in one sitting at this point all the time.
Yeah,
Fair
the group
enough.
is so big and there's so many nuances we have to deal with now that it's a lot of pain in the booty.
Yeah. Well, to recap, kind of for our note taker a little bit.
Thank you.
So the main thing with the first thing that I talked about with regards to aggression is mainly keep Rule 4 in mind in the face of somebody annoying or new to the group. Mainly on the annoying factor, because if you follow Rule 4 especially, and just kind of like back off when you need to after asking once to stop, or making
Mind
it
if I-
clear through conversation. Go ahead.
Might I just post Rule 4 in the town hall chat so that's
Yeah.
easy to get to for some people, especially our note taker.
Yeah.
Yeah, for everyone.
And regarding like stopping and stuff like that, it doesn't have to be instantaneous, the stop, but when a behavior needs to kind of like, stop happening, or a post needs to be addressed with a stop, then once is all you really need. Just kind of make it clear for that person that you don't want this to continue. And if they do continue it, back off and let somebody know.
Yeah, it kind of just needs to quell.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing that I could probably mention in recap is, of course, reworking a little bit of the open door policy. And mainly like adjusting and creating some sort of initiation process, both informing on DA and Discord.
Like we have just mentioned with that screening process.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah. Let's see here.
It's really the major point is that it's an adjustment to get deeper into the community. Everybody is welcome to actually join it, but to, I don't want to say earn some of the freedoms of Discord, but a better word is not popping into my head at the moment.
Probably mingle.
Yeah.
Mingle in a way that's trustworthy, because we could set up the role to make it a little bit more tight-knit, but still allow for that person to be active in our community. And so it's just kind of like a small little bit of time before they finally get the pass into the membership, which allows for a little bit more extra things, like Bleach discussed with me and a couple of the others, the idea of making it forced push-to-talk for voice.
We'll explain that more, though, in the What We Missed, because that's actually where I like to explain it more.
Understood.
Hi,
Alright.
Capitan.
Alrighty, so anybody have any sort of questions regarding the hints of aggression in the chat reprise topic that we've been on? Any concerns?
I think I missed that part of the conversation.
The one, I can't repeat that because I didn't hear it.
Any sort of questions, concerns, comments on this topic?
No,
we talked about this already. Kind of said what I needed to say. So
only thing I had in mind was a joke that now this place is becoming a cult. We have initiation rituals.
Oh my god.
Let them think what they
Unfortunately
want
not
to
a
think.
new joke.
Let them think what they want to think. They'll never want to find out on their own.
So you
Station
sounded,
wagon, not a cult.
I mean, I don't really have a
or you sounded like you wanted to bring something up.
Yeah.
I guess I wanted to mention that if such an event happens again, especially with a certain someone here. Please calm down and either give constructive feedback or just simply ignore them and let someone else handle it.
Yeah,
well,
like
it's not
that.
just. Go ahead.
It's that simple sometimes. Like if you honestly don't want to be bothered by the person, don't get aggressive. Just block them and ignore them. Simple as that.
Stuff like artistic incompetence is not a cause for alarm. Social incompetence, insensitivity, and malice, however, is. So if the latter is what is going on, then of course report that. But if someone's just bad at art, then the aggression is definitely uncalled for.
Yeah, by that logic, Zunu would not be welcome in this chat.
Way to what I want to say, and it's something I've been saying from the last time we had this kind of talk before in the last town hall.
Go
is
ahead,
that just because a new someone that annoys you in public, but they're not really doing anything that would, cause them to get banned, right?
Yeah.
And you're getting really annoyed by it and really get aggressive with your comments towards the guy. Just because they do something that makes you look bad, and just because they annoy you or how they just say something that you think is really stupid doesn't give you a fucking excuse to belittle them. Because seriously, that is a major thing.
Go on, Sky. Could you hold that on Marcy? Type it out if you have to.
Just because if you're starting to belittle someone because of something they made or done, and I don't care if you make it come out as criticism. I don't fucking care. If you belittle someone, then you're making yourself the actual person you're trying to get fucking feedback to.
Yeah, there's a fine line between criticism and then criticizing with insults and just like comments towards the person in your criticism.
There's also a difference between like facetious humor and just being a passive aggressive jerk to someone under the pretense of being humorous.
Yeah. And sometimes some people might say the excuse of, "Oh, I'm just being blunt," or "Oh, I'm just being honest. I don't give a single fuck." You should. There's no fucking excuse to treat someone poorly because you're being blunt or honest about something. Because guess what? I could be blunt and honest about something, but I don't act like a fucking jerk about it.
Yeah, you can still be blunt and be completely honest without, calling them names or something like that.
Being a dick.
Being blunt is like, it can come off as brutal honesty, but honestly, that doesn't have to be charged with anything like anger or rude comments.
Right back.
All right.
Yeah, once you start adding insults into your argument, it becomes invalid.
Especially because when you are making like criticism, if it's charged with anger, it becomes much harder for it to be proper criticism, and heck, just speaking in general, because anger begets poor judgment, as I said last time.
Yeah, there's a reason ad hominem is a fallacy, not a argument tool.
Yeah, know your fallacies, really.
Yep.
I mean, there's no...
English 101.
Go ahead, Mark.
There's no doubt in a lot of these situations where someone's going to be angry or upset, but as long as you're not, calling names or poking at them like a jerk, if you've just made it known that this bothers you, rather, then that's a different story.
Mm-hmm. And people who have been aggressive are not necessarily out to be a jerk at times, and I realize that. And that's kind of the big thing, is that in those instances, it's probably better for said person to kind of back off as per Rule 4, just to give themselves, a chance to cool off.
Yeah, it's regarding that, it's all in a matter of being both civil and objective.
Yes.
If you think you can keep that up, then keep it up. But yeah.
Wow.
It's not always easy to.
It hardly is.
Yeah, humans are flawed.
I just know that sometimes, even if it could help to back off, sometimes you may not have the option to stop the argument right where it stands.
Right.
So you have to learn how to restrain yourself enough to make a proper argument, even if you've gotten upset during it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think some people just don't like having loose ends.
Could be. But
I've found myself in situations where I'm on the clock with people, so to say, and I have to get this done that day, or it's not going to get done at all.
Right.
So you do end up learning how to speak with reason or listen to people while still angry. Not fuming angry, just not happy.
The get on with it kind of angry?
Just plain irritable.
Yeah.
Mostly irritable.
So that being said, yeah, just keep that in mind, folks, that being self-sufficient requires you not get aggressive or angry, because in many ways it'll help you stay civil, it'll help you make reasonable arguments and criticisms, and will just in general help, because to be clear, this topic may in fact only be directed at a few people that this really is prevalent with. And that's not to really call them out or anything, as I said, not to name names in here or anything, but it's really just a call for folks who are getting aggressive to step back and say, hey, I was angry. Maybe I should have been a little bit more careful at the time. And that's just mainly it. Because, again, this really can be a non-issue, this aggression thing.
Agreed.
You can restrain yourself from being aggressive, even if you're upset or angry or not happy with the person, even if you outright hate someone.
Yes.
You can and should keep that under control and look at the situation as it is.
In many ways, I think it's a plausible behavior to be able to hold yourself back when you're feeling all these flurry of things at the sight of something like that, because control, that's the big picture.
It's hard. Believe me.
It's hard, really, but it's very satisfying, because rage is just a waste of time and energy. Both yours and the people around.
Really,
there is no doubt in our lives we will be angry.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, there are things in the world that make people angry, but like raging about it is still a waste.
Wait.
You gotta be willing to dedicate the effort to it.
Mm-hmm. So I rest my case. Anybody else have anything to say?
Oh, can I say something on that note?
Okay.
Sure.
Oh yeah, like for example, like when you're driving, right? They tell you that if you're like angry or something like that, you should probably not drive, because like anything like outside is like making you angry or upset. Just make sure not to take it out on anybody on here on the internet, or like just anyone else in general, you know. Like just watch yourself whenever you get like upset or anything from anything outside, you know.
Yeah.
There's a reason why road rage is considered an offense to be punished for in many places.
I'm getting more thoughts on the be wary of hunting monsters you don't monster yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, righteous anger at, like, injustice is fine, but if you're gonna be, like, attacking everyone thinking they're offending, then, yeah. You might want to look in the mirror.
Emotions can impair you, so just watch out for that.
Yes.
A prime example, actually, like, a cool example from an anime is Alexander Anderson.
So did I miss anything?
Alex. We were mainly closing up on the topic.
Yeah.
Well,
the topic right now.
The case in Helsing is debatable, but that's beyond the scope of this
Aye.
Fight me.
Well, again, I rest my case. I'm glad plenty of you did speak on this matter, though, because one of the things about last town hall is that we didn't have that many who were speaking on it. So it's kind of good to refresh this early with this kind of town hall so we can keep it in our minds. And be wary that for much of the folks here that don't get aggressive, please look out for others. Please do. Please look out for your fellow members and be willing to not tell them off in like a way like, hey, you're being aggressive. More just like consult them and ask them how they are and be willing to, work with them. So look out for your fellow members in this instance. So if you are seeing that kind of aggression, be willing to support them in some way or form so that they don't have to stay aggressive.
Yeah. And if you Good. And if you can't, then back out of a situation. If you feel you can't or have some reason you can't, then it's probably a little better to hang back. It's just like Diz said, though, if you believe you can do that, then you should.
Thank you for having us here.
Miracle Koishi says in the chat that is very relevant. It's like my camp's motto, just be nice. I concur.
It's like almost 2 a.m.
I don't want to be nice. I'm angry.
That's the point I made about Anger Sky. You can't really be that nice when you're angry, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really not much for me to say other than thank you for having me here.
All right.
No problem.
All right, no problem.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
also,
shall we move
I think
on?
this is the first town hall where I've been in the voice chat.
Well,
Maybe.
congratulations.
Welcome to the club.
This is the first town hall where we get together on the release of a Toho date, so something new.
Yay.
And finally, I have a day off of.
Hype.
And finally, I get to have a day where I'm not at work.
Oh, you have a day off?
Toho Wiki with the new characters.
I saw.
Yep, they're on.
Yeah, let's not spoil here, though.
Let's not
because-
Of course not.
We have a chat for that.
But warning for anybody going on the wiki, the spoilers are there.
So who's going to make them in Walfas?
That is
hang on.
for
Good question.
All right, later,
That's
later,
for another
later.
one. We got other topics.
I'll wait back to y'all.
Speaking of chats, Bleach, our next topic. Are we ready to move on to that?
First, real quick to end up, I'm actually glad to actually make it here for the reprise one because I wanted to for the original aggression topic, but got caught up in something.
Yeah.
Whew.
Indeed, you were gonna be there and kind of back me up on some of my points, but couldn't be there. But oh well.
How bad form is it to leave in the middle of a town hall?
It's not
if you
really
have
bad
to, it's
form.
fine.
If you have
Well,
to.
it's like
People things.
Yeah, you don't have to be here.
it's like 2 a.m. soon, and I really need to go to bed. I have a birthday.
And go to sleep.
Not yet. I still want to hear.
Okay. We'll get through our regular 2 topics here, and then it would be all right to leave if you need to.
I think I still have like 10, 20 minutes before I pass out.
All right, let's move on then. Okay. All chat rooms are available for everyone. Reprise. So, to read the synopsis here, just as a reminder topic that the Discord chats are available to everyone unless I lost my place. Whoops. Indicated named as such should be open to any relevant to the chat room so long as it's within safe limits. There are a couple of chats that this synopsis doesn't apply to as much. But before I start that, I am going to point out our mini rooms. Folks, our mini rooms are being used rather regularly. for chats and stuff like that. And in many ways, I'd consider the usage of the mini rooms to be at their best. The only exception being Rune 2 going more unused, but that's not a big deal. The point is that people are using all 4 of our chats: the U-Haul, the Mini Room 1, the Mini Room 2, and the Mini Room 3. That is what we wanted, because sometimes the clutter in the U-Haul is pretty great because it is a popular chat room, so branching off into different chats like that is always welcome. However, this topic regarding open chats is going back to an old topic that we mentioned before, because there are certain chats under this stigma and not used as much as they could, and as a result are kind of cluttering up the U-Haul. The big thing is gaming. We have seen a lot of gaming stuff going on in the U-Haul specifically, and and the accessibility of the gaming rooms is still there to people. There is a stigma that there's only one topic that's really allowed there, but that's not true. Gaming stuff happening in the U-Haul has contributed to a lot of clutter and a lot of burying to the chat. So in many ways, a lot of things and a lot of topics happen at once. And regarding that, we want to encourage people to use our gaming rooms for gaming-related topics again, because people are free to use it. There is no only one topics allowed here when it comes to those chats. No.
Do you mind if sorry, go
ahead. Go ahead, Sky.
Because I do have quite a bit to say about the whole gaming chat thing, because we have talked about this in a previous town hall.
Yes, we did.
And considering the topic, since we did kind of say it, I'll definitely.
Yeah, not everybody plays Kantai Collection.
Let him speak.
But
I was going. Oh, okay. Someone else was gonna have a turn. So
if you
I
want
wasn't
to
even
say it
gonna
in
say.
text,
But
please.
I know I've been saying this a lot to people who I've talked to before and whoever was in the town hall, but the reason why I'm wanting to bring it up again is because I feel like no one really listened to us in that particular town hall.
For a time, people did use it, but it didn't last.
Issues are still happening now, especially when Diz brought up how there were gaming discussions happening in a U-Haul.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say is the whole gaming chat rooms being set up, because people have been saying, oh, it's nothing but contact talk, whatever. Honestly, you know what I have to say about that? If you say that it is, and if it was, why you're not doing anything about it?
Yeah.
Other gaming related thing in there. You could have easily bring up anything that is gaming related in there, but you don't, because
it's apparently
people are under this. Sorry.
Like I
sorry.
want to get thorough with this. All right. So. All right. And when people say that, oh, it's nothing but content collection. Well, why are you not bringing up any gaming related thing? I don't care if you hate content collection. I don't care about that. Because let me tell you, gaming chat room is for gaming.
Look right there.
And content collection is a game.
Look at Gaming 1, what I just posted.
I can't see what you're pointing at because all I hear is your voice.
But the main thing.
I just posted something there right now.
But I second Sky, and here's how I second it. It's open to you. Nothing is truly stopping you from saying something in the gaming chat but yourself. You have every right to access that chat, and if anybody gives you trouble like you preconceive might happen for bringing up something off topic, that is not okay, because it's an open chat. Anyone can bring up what they want to, any game they want to, in those chats, and that's acceptable. Absolutely freaking acceptable.
And so even some of the Kantai people said that they don't care if you want to bring up another gaming discussion in there and all. They because
they run concurrently.
I was going to say, like, if you're really super concerned about interrupting whatever's going on in the gaming rooms, you just have to ask if it's fine. And most people say that it's perfectly fine.
We have two gaming chats right now, so you have no real excuse to say that it's all about content. Because there's like 2 freaking gaming chats.
Regarding the 2 gaming chats, I have a question. How long have there been 2 gaming chats? Because I've noticed, okay, Gaming 1 has a lot of Kantai collection usually, and Gaming 2 has been, well, not exclusively used, but like, if Gaming 1 has been a lot of Kantai collection, Gaming 2 has been a lot of Fire Emblem Heroes. Was there some kind of like unwritten rule on what's okay and what?
No.
Yeah, it's like, it's like
No.
I never see anyone talking about Fire Emblem Heroes in Gaming 1, and I've never seen anyone talk about Kantai collection in Gaming 2. It's like
That's
not true.
Kinda
Let
like
me
a
tell
thing
you,
that
it's
just
not.
happened.
And I want to break this misconception that the gaming rooms aren't just about content talk, because there's more discussions happening in there. There's a talk about Blaze Blue. There was a talk about Armor Blitz, which is another mobile game.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. I have seen other games being talked on Gaming 1.
No, but the reason why I'm saying this is because I don't think the person's in here right now, and I don't want to name names. But one time in the U-Haul, when someone was trying to suggest a different gaming-related discussion to be moved to like a gaming room as a suggestion, not like outright telling the person to move it. Yeah. But one other person come along and says, "But isn't the gaming chat all about content?" I'm like, and this is like way after the whole discussion we had about the. And
yeah, and
I'm
it's
like,
not an isolated case either. Go on.
And it's like it basically tells me, do you even really pay attention to what's going on in the group? Do you even hear about this whole discussion? Or do you just not care?
Or rather, does the gaming, like the chat name Gaming 1, not suggest to you gaming? It's not Kantai collection, it's gaming.
In many ways, this is why we are not making a separate Kantai chat. No, it's not going to happen. And furthermore, it is getting to the point where we might have to start enforcing moving topics because of the clutter going on. We realize the U-Haul is a popular place to chat, but we don't want
It's the general chat.
Yeah, it's the general chat. It's not like gaming's not allowed there, but to the extent that it's gone on, like long term and stuff like that, we just want people to be considerate, because it does take up a lot when you are focusing on gaming long term in the U-Haul. It's not the best place for it, simply put, and it'll last a lot longer in a gaming-oriented chat. And this can go for a number of things, like if you are like posting artwork or making something ongoing, you have projects, other creations, and stuff like that. Just make it more accessible to yourself. And more relevant, because it's not going to hurt your message at all if it's in a different place other than the U-Haul. Not at all. In fact, in many ways you can pull the audience that you start in a U-Haul to another chat. There's nothing wrong with starting something in the U-Haul and then bringing it over.
We have all these specialized chats specifically for going in depth with topics. Of course, people will just chit chat about general stuff in the U-Haul, so they might bring up a little bit of gaming. But if you want to get really in depth, or just even mildly in depth, that's why we have our specialized chats. Now, the rules of etiquette are a little different in voice chats, because in a text chat, you can skip to what you want. In a voice chat, there's kind of an order of operations going on, whether you mean to or not.
Which is why we see people using our gaming voice chats when they're playing a game. And you can talk about games in the U-Haul, and you don't necessarily have to be playing anything in the U-Haul.
It's just whatever everyone's okay with talking about, or just, maybe you're conversation hopping.
Yeah. I I remember y'all told me, but just because it's a gaming room doesn't mean I have to actually talk about nothing but gaming.
Yeah, even the people in the gaming room are playing games, and they could be talking about food.
yeah, that's what happened usually, because some people in there do go in there to play games, but it's not always going to be like talking about the game that they're particularly talking about. Well, not majority of the time. There are special cases, but that's kind of the voice chat side of things. But I do have a couple things to say, and I know some people might be really questioning as to why I keep bringing up Kantai of all things. It's because this whole stigma I keep getting from just like in this group, there's this whole stigma against Kantai, which I just really don't understand.
Wait,
the reason why I'm getting so. Do you mean specifically in Toho groups?
But the problem is this is not a Toho group, but some people perceive it as such.
Okay, groups that have a high tofu influence.
A high tofu influence.
That's a good. That's a good way of saying it, but I don't want to generalize the whole thing myself. But I am just gonna say I do feel like there's a huge stigma against Kantai in this group from certain people, and I don't quite understand why. Probably because they don't like it. That's completely fine. You don't even have to like the game.
And I don't know. Maybe just think it's over talked, which
maybe I haven't been lurking enough because I haven't seen that hostility towards Kantai Collection as a series.
I've seen this
outright. Okay, hold on. There's not outright, I guess, hostility to anyone who's Kantai person, like anyone who's like a Kantai fan, but there's a definite presence there of people who just vehemently hate the game. Thinks that the whole gaming chat is because it's talking about Kantai. I'm probably messing up my phrasing a lot when I'm saying that, but what I'm basically saying is that there is the stigma. Just because you don't say it doesn't mean the stigma isn't there, because it definitely is there, and I've noticed it.
Well, I was thinking, Sky, that it's possible the stigma is there because people feel, for whatever reason, people feel in the text chat that if other people are having a conversation already, that they can't jump in, or if they don't feel like they can post any of their stuff because their messages are just going to get scrolled up by more messages about Kantai, which admittedly does happen, but I mean, there's a reason it's a text chat. You can scroll up.
But how many people
that's the beauty of it.
And the big
things to really kind of counteract that is that, well, yes, there's a lot of talk about it, but the reason why there is so much talk about it because no one else brings up really,
Sky, I'm not saying anyone shouldn't talk about it.
And I'm going to counter that with people not wanting to cut other people off, because then other people just continue chatting on, and it looks like they just ignored you.
There can technically be two topics in the same room, though.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when you try to bring something else to talk about, it just looks like people ignored you.
It's just a bit harder to juggle, to be honest.
It's hard to juggle, but the problem is that some of the people who are talking about Kantai said that they wouldn't really care either way if you want to talk about gaming, because you're not interrupting them.
I can understand that sentiment in voice chat because it is. Oops, sorry.
And plus, there's 2 gaming chats now, so you have no excuse.
I just muted both of them and stopped giving a crap.
Well, I myself will say this about the idea of muting. I have muted a lot of Discord groups and just general chat rooms in general because I could lose a day just by looking in Discord, just by viewing all the stuff that's going on. That's a me thing. I lose time in Discord, so I have to mute some chats to kind of counterbalance that. The thing is, I have muted specific chats, like the gaming, mainly so I can focus on what I need to, only leaving a few basically left unchecked, but there are only a few, and that's not out of stigma at the gaming chat. That's a me thing. But if you are blocking the gaming room just out of this preconceived idea that it's all about Kantai and that you shouldn't really bother, that's kind of a really bad reason to mute the gaming chat.
I actually remembered was an excuse once for not actually taking it to the gaming chat or whatever. And I explicitly remember this excuse because you did touch on this point earlier where you can just bring other people over to the room. The reason why some people don't like posting things in the gaming room is because they do not believe it gets as much attention as in the U-Haul. And you did bring this up, that you can just ask people to move to the gaming room or say, I'm going to be moving to the gaming room for this discussion.
Yes, but asking
anyway.
Yes, but asking people to move there and them actually moving there are not the same thing.
True.
It gets on who's interested. I mean, you can just ask and just have people that are actually interested in what was posted move there and have a look whenever they want. It ain't like it's
that's basically
well.
Or if you really want someone specific, like a specific group that you're talking to, you can poke them with a mention. Like if you're talking to them about something, say, hey, let's go over here.
Yeah. And the big thing is that I've seen it work before, and it does really work. But the thing is, if people are making excuses to stay in the U-Haul, that's selfishly taking up the chat.
And by mention, here's an example of such.
Or at least taking up the chat for its not purpose.
I just mentioned
the chat.
For the video you linked, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the big thing. You really should understand that the U-Haul can be a clutterfest, and in many ways can really disable like the longevity of a topic because a lot can go on. You have to really respect the fact that a bunch of new things get brought up in the U-Haul all the time, even while something else is going on. So if you want to focus down on one thing, please use a specific chat for it. It is not that these two chats are not there to hurt you. These two chats are not there to be preconceived as something other than what they are, which is an open, accessible chat for everyone. For everyone. And I thought just as much as Sky and TD, who talked about this last time, that the fact that the Kantai Collection folks, and in fact a lot of the other people that bring up a popular game like Fire Emblem Heroes, were okay with the fact that other people would bring up other topics in the gaming chat, would have been the end of it. And really, it ought to have been. So in many ways, this needs to happen. If you want to bring up something gaming in the U-Haul, realize that it is more short-term there. And if you want something like that to last and have more in-depth discussion with like a focus and an audience to talk about with, that you know that's going to talk about it with you, please do take it to the gaming chat. We don't want to have to enforce it as much as often as we might have to now, but that's just the thing. We wouldn't be enforcing you to move it just because we didn't like this here or the topic in general. It's not like an outlier to stop or anything like that.
And mind if I say something real quick? Is that there was an instance where I did, suggest, I didn't ask, but I suggest someone to move a gaming related thing into a gaming chat. But rather than, just moving it over there or just either ignore my comment, the person was being rather defensive over it.
Mm-hmm.
I asked politely. I didn't argue with the person. I just suggested politely.
But maybe to them it looked like you
done talking. Don't interrupt me, please.
Type it in chat if you have to. Go ahead, Sky.
Interrupted, but okay. Suggested them to move it into the gaming room, and you don't really have to take you don't have to take my comment. You could just easily ignored it or whatever, right? But they were being rather defensive about it, to the point where they actually outright delete the gaming related thing they brought up in a U-Haul and didn't post it anywhere else.
Yeah, that's not what we would want ideally either when we ask you to move something. Because honestly, Sky, that gaming thing wasn't unwelcome, was it?
It wasn't unwelcome. Hell, some of the people, like, I know the particular game that the guy was bringing up, and I'm not going to say what game it is because I don't want to, give any hints. But majority of the people who play that said game do pay attention a lot more in the gaming room than really the U-Haul. I can confirm that because I'm one of them. They didn't, and honestly, that's fine if they don't want to, but I'm just suggesting that if you're going to bring up a gaming-related thing, put it in the more appropriate chat room. I might be into that game as well.
Just so you don't get interrupted. Because in many ways, if you move, then nobody has to ask you to move it again. And so you have the focus you needed.
I'm just kind of frustrated with this whole gaming thing because it shouldn't be an issue, yet it became.
I understand where the frustration comes from, but I'd hold on to the feeling of frustration
I'm
for the absolute.
I'm holding on to it, but it's just that I feel like that whole discussion we talked about a few months ago about the whole gaming chat and the contact, it feels like no one really cared what we talked about, and that's what really got to me about this whole thing, which is the reason why I want to talk about it again, is because I want to make this very clear to people, is that the gaming room is for everyone. It's not for a particular discussion. It's not for a particular people talk or whatever stuff. Essentially. So an excuse of it's all about one talk. I don't, because really it isn't about one particular game talk going on in there. Because if you think otherwise, then you're just outright generalizing the gaming room as just a freaking hive mind, which is kind of stupid. But
bear in mind, though,
that that's kind of besides the point. Going off a tangent a bit, but
that's the beauty of the text gaming chats. Really, is that you can skip whatever you want and just look at the posts that you're looking for. So if you want to post something that's not Conte, like, you can do that. Yes, a lot of people post Conte in there. It's pretty popular, especially since we have like at least 3 super hardcore fans who are doing lots of cool stuff every day. They're going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. And they're
allowed to. It is a game, so it's not quote anime or whatever. I don't, that the whole stigma is just.
And if you really feel you're going to get ignored, then Shingo does this actually, oddly enough. He does this thing where if he has a gaming topic he wants to bring up to a specific group of people, he'll just mention them. He'll just say, hey, you guys, look at this cool thing I found.
Look at this cool thing I've done, because a lot of his comments are kind of him playing fighting games.
But yeah, he pokes the people he knows will be interested, so that if they really don't want to dig and scroll for everything, as I know some people don't enjoy, and that is fair. It's hard to do that, but there are many ways you can mitigate this problem, and that is one of them. Is if you know someone particular is talking to you about something, you can poke them, and they'll be able to find that message very easily.
And if you're really, really conscientious, that's a weird way to say, about just interrupting a discussion, go see the mini room. Go see mini room. You can ask them. There's also the option is that there's not.
Yeah, the mini rooms are also there.
There's also not the mini rooms, but like there's gaming too, and there's no discussion going on in there. You could use gaming too.
Mm-hmm. And
there's a reason why we brought it back.
Yeah, and Sky, just to clarify, the topic we talked about last time with these chats, not everybody who's here now was there back then, so just keep that in mind. It's not as though people would outright ignore it, but it does kind of get lost. So it's good to bring it back now.
I know, but I just hope this... I just want to be really clear to people, and hopefully after this whole town hall, it becomes more of a, I guess, thing.
Set in stone thing.
Thing of, gaming rooms are there. It's not about one game particularly. You could bring up any other game in there you want. It's not an exclusive one particular game. It's not like that at all. You could talk in there, bring up any gaming related thing in there all you want, and there's like 2 of them now, so there's...
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a word and I can't fucking remember what it was. But I think I made my point clear enough, because I've been rather passionate about this, because I was kind of the reason. I'm kind of, well, not the reason, but I really want that. If you want to bring up anything gaming related, just use the gaming room. Don't use the U-Haul, and don't give me any excuse about this and that. You just put a gaming related thing in a gaming chat. That's all you need to do. It's not hard.
And if you're really that concerned about interrupting conversations, and both gaming rooms are, having decent conversations, and you don't want to interrupt them, that's what the mini rooms are for. The mini rooms are for larger or more they're for more focused topics, but the topics themselves can be anything, really.
Yeah, and like mentioned before, our mini rooms are being used rather properly. People are using them, and that's where we want them. And heck, yeah, it's just kind of to point out that everything is open. The only things that I'd consider probably less open are like room-specific things like trap cards, structured RP, voice text even, because not everybody can use it. And, of course, you know, what have you about those things. Those have very specific usages, and usually they're defined in a description.
Yeah, but those are far and few between, thankfully.
Yes, most of the time it is open, and even then, with how things are, they are still pretty lenient. So yeah, I rest my case on that as well. Anybody else have anything like questions, comments, concerns, or clarification?
What I need to say, and if someone dares try to, I guess, make an excuse to not using gaming chat, I'm not going to get aggressive on them, but I will definitely tell them about this whole discussion we had in here, basically. Just trying to, tell them. I don't know how to put it, but
he's just saying, don't make excuses.
Just don't make excuses, basically. I am terrible at excuses.
I mean, there's going to be some grievances, but there are definitely ways to mitigate it, as I brought up a moment ago.
Yeah. In many ways, we want you folks to be comfortable in the gaming chats, and I think the best way to tackle any sort of preconceived idea is to actually use it.